Hello, welcome to mod 5 of counseling intervention. This is your host, Dr. Tulipo Mwenfumbo, and today we are looking at crisis intervention in special populations. As you may know, crisis intervention is a vital response to individuals in crisis, aiming to mitigate distress, ensure safety, and facilitate recovery. However, special populations require tailored approaches due to unique circumstances, experience, and cultural backgrounds. So, by acknowledging and addressing the unique needs of special population, crisis intervention can be more effective, empowering, and supportive, ultimately promoting resilience and recovery. When we look at the counseling of special population, what do we mean? We mean the groups with distinct characteristic needs or experiences. These may face barriers to accessing crisis service or require adapted interventions. For example, children, older adults, individuals with disability, lesbians and individuals, refugees, indigenous populations, military personnel, and other veterans. So these they have got special needs. So you cannot expect you to counsel the crisis of a child as same as the crisis of an adult or the crisis of the gentologists, the old people. So they each group has got the way they perceive. They have got the barriers. There are certain language that you can talk to a child and you cannot talk to an elderly person. There are languages whereby you can talk to other group of people and you cannot be able to talk to other groups. So those are crises. Those are distinct characteristic when you are dealing with the counseling. So the importance of cultural sensitive crisis. So there is what is called culture, and in anthropology there is what is called ethnos. So when we are talking about ethnos, we are talking about the group of people. And when we talk about the group of people, we are talking about ethnic groups. And when we talk about ethnic groups, in the wider perspective, we are not only talking about tribes or what. We are also talking about certain certain special population. For example, if we have doctors, sometimes you may find that the doctors they have got the way they perceive things because of their training. The military they have got the way they perceive things because of their training and because of their exposure. The police officers they have got the way they perceive things, and different professions and different cultures. So now when we talk about uh, ethnicity, we are talking about different cultures, different cultural grounds, cultural differences. So the differences is the behaviors and also the perception of things. So in being in a profession, you create a certain behavior. Same like being a child, there is a perception that is different from the old people. So now as a counselor, you need to be sensitive to such cultural issues. Like we have got now the issue of the issue of the 2000 generation, and there is a lot that is happening in this generation, the millennium generation. Why? Because they have got the way or they perceive things. uh, they have got a certain culture that has come in, which is different from the culture that we grew in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. So it is becoming strange, this computer generation, this IT generation, this networking generation, and this generation of artificial intelligence. So there is a difference. So now that we in anthropology we can consider that as a cultural. It's also a culture. So now because the thinking is different, So now, those are the things that we have to be sensitive as counselors. So recognize the impact of cultural difference on crisis experiences and responses. Ensures interventions are adapted to meet unique needs and preference. Foster trust, understanding, and effective support. So the key principles that we have to look at it, see, cultural humility and awareness. Then we have to look at flexibility and adaptability. So we have to be flexible according to the clients and according to the special groups. Then you have to use the empathy and understanding. So when you are dealing with a certain culture or a certain understanding of a certain view of people, you need to be very understanding and empathetic. No, put in their shoes. How does a person who is 75 years, why are they thinking like that? And when they are perceiving things, they'll talk about the things that may not be understood by any other person. But as a counselor, you have to be empathetic. To be empathetic is putting on someone's shoes without dressing them. So that is where now you get to understand the life that a person is talking about or is going through. Collaboration with support networks and community leaders. Awareness of power dynamics and intersectionality. Then we also look at crisis intervention in special population requires tailored approaches to address unique needs and circumstances. Those populations require crisis. Let's look at these special groups like children and adolescents. When working with children and adolescents in crisis, it is essential to consider their unique needs, developmental stages, and circumstances. So you have to consider that these children are just developing. So what they are going through, they may have much impact on their life. So use play therapy, art, or storytelling to facilitate expressing what you want to talk about. Involve parents, caregivers in the intervention process. So when you're dealing with adolescents and children, you need to set a time whereby you have to guide the parents and the children, the caregivers on how they should be able to relate in the with the these children in their crisis. So they should be there too, because they may be there. They are the ones that are always there with them. So you have to also help them to be able to understand and to be able to relate with these young ones. And consider developmental stage and the cognitive level. Strategies. Here are some consideration. Developmental stage. Tailor your approach to their cognitive. When you talk about cognitive, to their thinking, emotional, and social development. So when you are dealing with these young ones, you have to help them on what they think, what their emotions and social development. You know, there are things that I've experienced in my teenager children or boys, whereby it become they become so pompous and they think they have grown. So you have to understand that, and especially when it comes to trauma, they begin to find the solution and they want to get into. So you can lose those children by them engaging into other situation, other devices, because they want, because of the trauma that they go through. Trauma informed care recognize the impact of trauma on their development and behavior. So, as we said, family involvement is very important. So, communication style, use clear, simple language and adapt your communication style to their age. Don't criticize them, don't push them. Build trust with them and help them to regulate their emotion. So safety planning, it is also very important. Cultural sensitivity and collaboration. And when you're dealing with elders, you work also working when working with elders or other adults in crisis, it is essential to consider their unique needs, circumstances, and experiences. Because the elders, they are responsible. So when they are in a situation where they're in a crisis, they do not only think about themselves, they think also about their children and the people that they are responsible of. So that brings more depression to the older generation. So be sensitive to the age-related physical and cognitive limitation. Address potential social isolation and the loneliness, because in this time it is easy for elderly people to withdraw because of the situation. So you need to help them, involve family members as well. So other adults crisis intervention, there are physical limitation. Be aware of potential physical limitation, sensory impairment, and the chronic health condition. Cognitive changes, consider age-related cognitive changes such as memory loss and decreased. In short, you just have to be able to understand this situation. Now, the other group, it is individuals with the disability. When working with individuals with the disability in crisis, number one, you have to know that these people sometimes they don't have the esteem is low, and they are very sensitive to they feel they are not able to do things because of because of their disability, and there are a lot of things that goes into their mind. So you have to be sensitive to those. Be aware of accessibility and communication. Use adaptive strategies. And so there are a lot of interventions when you're dealing with individuals who are lesbian, though we don't encourage it in Zambia, but you cannot abandon them. You cannot. There was this question when we were attending local, when we were attending the this constitutional making process. There was a question of lesbians and also these homosexuals. So now they were the discrimination that they face. Now, when we talk about lesbian rights or gay rights, we do not talk about encouraging gays. We talk about, for example, if a gay is sick, are you going as a nurse? If you're a nurse, are you going to not to attend to that person because he's a gay? No, because we are gay, we cannot attend to you. They have got the same rights as we all have. Are we going not to? So you treat them as human beings, not by looking at that they may be gays, and you may not be in agreement with them being gays, but what is important is providing a solution to them. Then there are refugees and immigrants. Sometimes these people also face a lot of challenges because they are coming from countries, and there is discrimination and there is a lot of trauma that happens, especially when they are running away from wars and what. So there is those people that run away from their country because of the civil wars and other things. So it needs you to help them to be able to cope up with a situation. Then there is what is called indigenous populations. Be aware of the historical trauma, like there are certain situations that we have all gone through. Like in Africa, we have got these colonial traumas that people still suffer from. So those are the issues. So there are some tribes and there are some indigenous people that have got memories of what happened, what this tribe did to this tribe, and what. So you need to be able to help them and understand why they behave the way they are behaving. The military personnel. So those are the things that we have to look at when we are dealing with crisis intervention in special groups. Thank you so much. Remember to like the video and join me in the next class where we're going to look at group crisis intervention. Thank you so much and God bless you.